All right, I have 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Please add an appointment of Mike Johnson, second term Marine Activities Advisory Committee.
All in favor of amending the agenda? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is amended. Okay, I'm looking for a second to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second. Yeah.
Any
Larry, you
discussion?
already approved the amended agenda.
Okay. Okay, we have approval of minutes for November 20th, 2020 special meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have minutes for December 19th, 2020 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, in the president's remarks, the only remarks I have for tonight are, and it's mainly for the community. The Veterans Memorial has been awarded the wall that heals for April 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So it'll be it's one of the traveling walls, and it will be on display for those 3 days. In addition to that, I am a member of the Worcester County Veterans Board. My responsibility for this wall is there is a program called In Memory Of, and it's a program for Vietnam vets who did time in country, who have since passed from as a result of their time in country. And it's a program where you can get an individual's name added to this scroll and a website. So there'll be more information coming out about it. There's a form to be completed, but there'll be something that has they put in place 5 years ago, and there'll be more information coming out about it. So with that, we'll move to the GM report. John.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, so thank you, Michelle. Perfect timing. So we'll start off with Michelle. All right, so we'll start off with tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Racquet Sports. Obviously, that's the Racquet Sports building. A lot of good stuff happening there. Turn the page. So I just figured I'd give this screenshot again that the team gave me. As you know, for the budget, we had in there as one of our high priorities is the pickleball courts, racquet court located behind the platform courts, for which I'm going to ask for approval tonight of approximately, and I'll have more on this later, $66,000. 4 pickleball courts located next to the hard surface courts for $67,895. And then the fence for the new courts, $26,859. So we have the 3 bids, as mentioned before, and approval from BNF. this is what I'll be looking for, and I'll talk to you more about it later. Turn the page, please. Okay, so tonight I won't, we don't have the information yet, but we did discuss, and the team mentioned about crack repair, approximately $33,000 for these courts. This has been going on for years. You can see that if we don't do this, how we're going to have some bigger issues. So it's to repair the structural cracks. I give you some information of what's involved and how this all comes into play, but I will be coming to the board in February, as mentioned, for approval on this. It's not in the current budget, but as you can see, it's definitely, so these are just examples that the team got for the show. Turn the page. So we did, you know, a month ago, I came to the board asking for approval. Well, actually, I told you about it. It was only $8,000, but we did some major fence repair down there. It's all been completed. It was overseen by Clint at Public Works. We saved a considerable amount of money by having Clint and our own team estimate how much this could be. It definitely helped us with putting out the bids, and credit to Tim McMullen finding a new supplier who actually did it. And all reports I've received, everybody's happy with it, whether there are players, the racket sports managers that we have down there, is the whole team. Turn the page, so that's good news. Okay, so let's go. So the biggest thing we've had going right now, besides all this other stuff, is the budget. So just some highlights. We completed the proposed budget review with B&F. We addressed the guidance. We presented the proposed budget to the board on Tuesday, January 19th. I have included a reconciliation for 2021 to the recommended budget, reflecting the board's review and feedback, and I'll go through that with you, which basically where I'll take last year's assessment and show you where we're at today for the association. Next steps for the budget will be Saturday, February 6, 2021, 9 a.m. Board conducts hearing on recommended budget. Saturday, February 20th, 2021, 9 a.m. Board conducts final hearing and approves the budget. Okay, turn the page. All right, so we have some numbers. We have a reconciliation. I've been a lot of reconciliations throughout this process. I believe it's helped us to understand where we were and where we are now and how we got there. So with this, and I did this for you last year, and I'll do it every year, is, okay, where are we? What caused the increase? Last year, the assessment, as everybody knows, was $986. As of now, with the recommended budget, we have an increase in there of $35. What caused that increase? Well, now, and I've talked about this, our medical insurance, we're being told has a 30% increase. On the left, you see what that equates to in dollars. On the right, you could see what that equates to on the assessment, $30 on the medical insurance. That obviously was not in there last year. This is an increase. We did have medical insurance. This is the increase we're dealing with. Salaries with a 3% so far approved budget, 3% plus the statutory adjustments to get to minimum wage. $110,000 is the estimate, and that's a $13 on the assessment. Property casualty insurance, 10% increase is what we're being told. Again, you can see the amount, $60,000. The effect on the assessment is $7. Aquatics, we reviewed this with B&F and now with the board. Aquatics and beach parking, although this budget was prepared and the instructions given was that, a lot of people coming in, was that to prepare without a COVID adjustment, which we did separately. However, for aquatics and beach parking, at this point, B&F, the team, the board, they feel that there will be, even if there isn't a COVID, that there will be some type of effect on this amenity because it may take time for people to come back to the pools. And look, let's face it, we don't know what would be mandated by the governor. So that's the effect on the assessment because of those assumptions. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of assumptions this year, a lot of challenges, certainly a lot of variables. The bulkheads, a $6 increase from last year. Fire and EMS, $5 increase. Public Works is a decrease of $16. We did have 5 open positions this year that were very hard to fill for many reasons. One of it, particularly COVID. For this budget going forward, I'm not filling, or we're not going to fill 3 positions. We've not eliminated them, but we believe at this time that we won't have to fill them, and then there obviously would be savings. Same thing with the police. We have an open position, among other things, but the favorability there is $13. Golf revenue, favorability, $4 compared to last year with the budget. Rec and Parks, 3 favorable. Depreciation and other to reconcile to the $35 brings us to the 1,021. So that's where we were last year, 986. These are the major components, and there are other components, and I just want to footnote them on the bottom. Steve did that for me, as well as prepare the schedule. But one of the items that we talked about was drainage, top priority, Bainbridge project, and other drainage, specifically pipes, which we didn't have to fund for last year, but this year we do. Last year, because of several years that we didn't do any work on it, there was a balance in it. This year, obviously, we utilized that money, as well as allocating to the Bainbridge project, #1 priority. So what I asked the board, and that at this point has been acknowledged by the board, is that normally I have money for roads. This year, we're going to allocate that money towards drainage. If we hadn't done that, and there would have been another increase to the assessment of $44 because we didn't have any money in the reserves for drainage. Okay, so that kind of nets out there. $35, that's the detail. Those are major items. Obviously, a lot of them, medical insurance, salaries, property casualty, not much that you can do there. The COVID adjustment, which we calculated, came out to somewhere around $77, $80 on the assessment, is not included. The instructions that I gave to the team was to prepare a budget without the COVID, which they did. We do have favorability. It's obviously not the end of the year. We believe, we're going to use the piece that we believe we're locked into to offset any operating deficit that's left. It's somewhere around $180,000. So we didn't have to include that in an assessment increase. We did that last year and it worked successfully. And just to point out, because I did receive this question, we had approximately like $550,000 last year of favorability, even though we had earmarked when we did the budget somewhere around, let's say $200,000 for now. That remainder, once we booked it and once it was done and we closed out the year, did reduce that operating deficit. If you remember, only 3 years ago was how much? $1.6 million deficit. With this budget, with this allocation favorability, number's going to be 0. And we believe we'll have extra favorability, which we right now will use as a cushion if we have COVID. So that's how we did it. That's all laid out. I believe it's the right way to go. Turn the page. All right, so software, I'll be giving updates on North Star. The reason for this update is this, is that we have escalated, and let me just read it. We've escalated to the top people at the software company. Changes have been made, which I'll discuss here, and I'll bullet point. The 2 Steves and myself met with them. Doug came in, appreciated support. He was there, gave us a little guidance here or there afterwards before. So some of the changes, and there's a key change at the end that I will highlight, and I'll try to put it in layman's terms. I've actually seen one of the main reasons why they're saying we're having the issues we have. I've actually heard this before, believe it or not, somewhere else. So anyway, weekly update calls to go over open items instead of bi-weekly. So obviously we're enforcing this. Support leader from the software company will attend every other meeting to be sure staff is following priorities. These are top people. Support leader will also address concerns privately with their team and not only at meetings. So there's a lot of overseeing on their end at a high level. Open items list will be overseen by support leader for ongoing status between meetings. Additional open items recently added, Public Works, will be addressed by their support leader immediately. So we are escalating. There is oversight there at a higher level. Couple things here at the end. OPA will start utilizing North Star's ticketing system. versus individual emails to better track issues and visualize downtime. That is what I'm accustomed to from another life. I believe that'll definitely help us. Make sure all department heads have accounts to log in and open review trouble tickets. Also making sure there's an alternate focal point per department in each case they're needed. I've talked to you about this before, and I've told you why I feel we will be successful, that we have several people in our organization that have embraced this. They will be involved. So it kind of takes out some layers, and they will have, immediate access to this. I believe that'll help also with timing and getting things resolved. Here's an important point at the end. Hopefully I can articulate this and we can get this in layman terms. If not, Doug is here. Random system instability, this is on their end, has been partly attributed to AWS server resources. So let me just finish it and I'll tell you how I believe this has happened. Upgrade plans are now being considered for both the application server as well as the web server. So one of the things that I mentioned in the last board meeting, and something that I said trumped everything, was that we saw with this system it would shut down, or something would be there at this period and then it wouldn't be there at another period. The way I understand this as a layman terms and the way I explained it another time somewhere else, to me it's capacity, that they didn't have enough hardware or whatever there, and I know it's load leveling or whatever. Doug, if you want to jump in with something in layman's terms to help explain. The bottom line is I've seen this, heard this before. I understand if this is what they're addressing. It sounds right to me, but we'll see. Doug, anything you can add on there to help articulate or no?
No, John, you're on point. It's clearly a capacity resource consumption issue, and they're adjusting as based on that meeting. They're watching it, they're monitoring it, they're adjusting as necessary, and hopefully that'll yield the results that we have. But yeah, you're right on point. That's correct.
Yeah, and I appreciate, and the team appreciates that Doug came in, obviously with his background in IT. Okay, turn the page. That's enough for that one. All right, Ocean Pines Academy. We have a leader. It's Julie Malinowski. She is running this project. I have this up there. Obviously, COVID is at the top of the list. North Star, obviously, as others. We are the whole team, and believe me, the whole team. I'm just looking at all the names that are going to work on this under Julie's leadership. I'm on the team reporting to Julie. So here's some updates that she gave me today. The work group has met to discuss online implementation of the Ocean Pines Academy. Now, one of the big things this time new with Josh, and Josh will head up the video side of it, which I think will give us a lot more flexibility than in the past, and we're pretty excited about that. So other points here, department heads and amenities will be working on gathering information and developing talking points for their video presentation this month. So they're already engaged, like I said, for each amenity or department. We have some specialists there, and Julie has tried with me to get somebody at every level involved with this. So it'll be a total team effort. Information will be compiled into a slideshow, and recording for video presentations will begin mid-February, and that will be under Josh. Academy will be ready for deployment mid-March. I have complete confidence in this team. And so far, a lot of the stuff I've seen and I've heard is pretty neat. All righty, turn the page. Team effort. Where am I? GM team return continued. Oh yes. Okay. So let's do this. Let's see how we get through this one. So last month I came forward. I think I had 11 or 12 violations that the lawyer said that we didn't need a lawyer to go through it. They were basically, and the majority was roof leaves or roof moss or whatever. So I mentioned that they will spray it, they'll clean it, and the board had some concerns, mainly that can our people do it? What am I spraying up there? Am I going to cause more damage? I being our team. Our team has a lot of background in this. This kind of work we do outsource to a company that you probably all see here. That do that stuff. They spray it. I got it all here. Also, the 11 or 12 violations that I have here, 11 I counted, 8 of them were taken care of when we reached out to them by the homeowners. So we have 3 open. Here's the detail that you all asked for. The contractor that we normally utilize said that he would charge between $150 to $200 to clean the roof. Standard. He would spray the roof with an algae cleaner, and if need be, would scrape the roof for thicker mold spots. This charge, along with our normal $75 administrative fee and attorney fees, would be billed to the homeowner. As for the damage to the roof that could possibly happen during the cleaning, per our DRs, and they gave Linda Martin gave me the paragraph and everything. It's terrific. They all are. The association should not be liable for any damage which may result from any maintenance work performed hereunder. That's what the said. If the board approves for the properties listed above to be cleaned by a contractor, the attorney will send another 10-day letter to the owners, letting them know that they have 10 days or the roof will be cleaned for them and they will be charged for the service. The newer roof maintenance violations, November the current, that have been sent to the attorney, now receive the attached letter notifying the owner that either the case will be heard in court or OPA will hire a contractor to clean the roof. Then he will be billed for the service plus attorney fees. Basically, same way as if we brought in somebody to mow the lawns or if there was something else. Any questions on that? I know you all had it. I believe the team and myself answered them all. If not, we're going to go forward with those 3 locations. I believe Michelle has the 3 locations in the back. Okay, good. Very good.
Anything else?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. I thought you might be done.
Let me just P&Ls. Am I taking too much time?
No. You're fine.
Okay, good. Okay, so all right. So we did not have the actuals done for December, but we have committed, and I will have a flash again. Steve, and I think he's online. I think I saw his initials, and I appreciate that. Steve finished the flash today. He gave it to me. He left some notes on my chair. But let's go through the November actuals since last month I did it as a flash. Alrighty. Not sure where I put my notes, but all right. So November flash, November actual. I'm sorry. We've been doing this. It's been working pretty well, and everybody's got a clear thing. So for November, just like the flash, he was spot on with it. We're approximately $90,000 favorable. Expenses were favorable, as well as the net revenues. All righty, turn the page. So the year to date, that's the number that we saw, the $1,355,000 favorability. If anybody was involved in all the budget meetings and everything, I reconciled that down to what we believe the forecasted favorability would be at the end of the year, which was a key starting point for the budget and everything we did over the last 2 weeks. We took that $1,355,000, we reconciled it. We believe at the end of the year, we probably would be favorable about $650,000. Right, so I've gone through all this. You see where it is. Let's turn the page so I can give you a little analysis. Right? So for the month, the 88,000. This is broken down by department or amenity where the favorability was. You could see Yacht Club was unfavorable, the $87,000. And COVID. There's been many emails on that and many explanations on what caused that. The public works, again, all year long, I've been telling you, it's basically maintenance that we hadn't done yet, that we put off because of COVID, that we do have plans to do over the next several months. And there have been open positions. Those open positions were addressed in the recommended budget now. As I told you earlier, there's 3 positions that we believe we will not fill next year. General admin, the CARES Act grant is recorded there. There was favorability for that. Rec and parks. Again, most of this favorability on all of these is payroll and cutting expenses because of COVID. Recreation and parks certainly did that all summer long and throughout the fall. Aquatics, receiving favorability there. They are closing early on Saturday and Sundays, and there's been some savings on the swim instructor savings. So they are trying. Everybody's trying. Finance, favorability 8.3. There was an open position there that we will be filling. We were hoping that we wouldn't have to. We will fill it, and that was a position that we had 3 years ago when I was here. Where am I? Marinas were favorable. That was some payroll there. It's probably some timing also. Golf office and maintenance, the 3.6 was mainly maintenance favorability, and then the yacht club, obviously with the COVID, and there was some things, some timing items with payroll and some cost cutting and specials, and that's all pretty much been documented. Okay, next page. Let's try to wrap this up. All right, so there's that 1355, right? And it's there, and we've talked about this all year. The general admin and other, the $1 million, obviously, that favorability was the PPP. Public Works, again, open positions, the maintenance favorability. There will be maintenance that will happen over the next couple of months, as well as we took some of this maintenance money with the board's approval and we reallocated to pay for drainage, right? You'll see that on another slide. Finance, again, that open position, the marinas, fuel sales, fantastic job there, well documented all year. Clubhouse Grill, kind of said that the budget for it was kind of conservative, did well, but I think you'll see this balance out in the next couple of months. Public relations, there was some timing. I don't know if you, I keep getting these admits in here. Police, favorability on some vacancies, rec and parks, removal of event costs attributed to payroll, cost cutting, trying to save wherever we could. GM's office, some favorability, the golf ops, like we said, golf has done a lot better and is just about breaking even. The aquatics, we've spoken about that, you know, mandated on how many people can be there. The COVID affected all that. It's $200,000 to the negative. Beach parking, the same. Racquet sports, 19,000 unfavorable, and the yacht club kind of balancing out. That's the 1355. All right, turn the page. Let me do the flash. Just about done. I said a flash for this month was unfavorable for the month, 260,000. But there's some unique one items here, some one-offs. When you go to the expenses and it's favorable, if you see on the bottom, Steve had told me that he reversed out some of the allowance for doubtful accounts because we've had some good progress on collections. So he wanted to try to balance it out now. Look, we can do it now. We can do it at the end of the year. To be honest with you, I would do it at the end. He's very confident in this. I spoke to him and I support him on this. All right, we're trying to balance everything out. We did not have that in any forecasts or anything for the favorability. So let's see how that works. As we know with this, and I know Doug and his updates as CFO will talk to you about the assessments, but I've been tracking it too. Doug and I talked a little bit the other day when he asked for it. In the email, I showed him that we're actually doing better than we thought. Okay, that allocation that I told you about, the 250, that's an allocation going into the reserve from the P&L so that we can balance out and not have an increase for something and then have, you know, an offset down the road. So credit to the board, flexible, helping me out on that. It's the right thing to do overall. All right, so the negative 260,000. Again, a lot of it was the transfer. Again, all this is coming into what we said when we estimated the 650,000 favorable. Turn the page. I'm going to do the slide in 2 seconds. This is what you get for your $986 as part of it. I mean, the views are absolutely beautiful at nighttime. This is right off Manklin Creek. Joe Reynolds puts pictures up there. I just fascinate me because I get to see the same, and I think we all do in Ocean Pines. And that's all I got to say. It's just beautiful. Credit to Joe and credit to Julie Malinowski for putting this collage together for me. Turn the page. All right, lad, I'm done.
Doug?
Yep.
Doug, your mic, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So we continue to have an investment rate on our investments of 1%. That's consistent with where we were last month at this time. Also, at the end of November, we have approximately 12 million in cash. At the end of October, we had 12.5 million. We did have some approved and executed capital expenses in the month of November, and thus reflecting that that balance. As you can see, every month we also break down that balance, 7.1 in the CDRs, and they're fully FDIC insured, and then the rest 4.9 are in money markets and other financial vehicles that are also fully insured. And that's the breakdown of that 12 million that we currently have in the investments. Next slide, please. As John had mentioned, I've been doing since I took over. That's been tracking the assessments. This chart actually tracks assessments through the end of December. As you can see, we're up to $8.811 million of the 9.1, which actually is 96.6% of the build assessment total, which is actually pretty good in comparison to other years. We've always been around 94, 95%. Now, again, I say the same thing pretty much every month. Be advised that that total of 96.6% does really reflect a shortfall of approximately $303,000 that we haven't collected. So just bear in mind that, hopefully at some point we'll get closer and closer to the, to getting all the assessments collected. But at 96.6%, there's nothing that's been outrageous or, a tremendous change from previous years. I also wanted to add one more thing in there. The other thing that John and his team have been doing has been tracking the delinquent account balance. So a little bit more with regard to delinquent accounts is that it covers multiple years. So it's a cumulative total of accounts that have been uncollected for greater than 1 year, and of course, including the current year. Now, interestingly enough, that amount as of December was $923,509, and it reflected 461 lots that have an outstanding balance. That's going to be an area that we continue to try and see if we can chip away at that, certainly from the attorney's perspective and trying to get liens on the properties. But, again, that's money that hopefully at some point we'll recover some of it. I doubt very seriously we'll recover a significant portion of that. But, again, it's another area to just keep focused on and seeing if we can do something in that arena. Next slide, please. So we also look at the, again, from every month, we start with the balance from the end of the previous fiscal year in our reserves of $5.6 million. I won't bore you with all the details. The graph speaks for itself. And as of the end of November, we now have $6.7 million in the reserve account. That's down $200,000 at the end of October. We had $6.9 million, but as I said earlier, we had approved and executed capital expenses out of the reserve fund, thus reflecting that particular number. So very good. Next slide, please. And again, as we do every month, we make sure that we are tracking all of the things that really do affect the spend coming out of the reserve accounts, the various reserve accounts. The chart, again, speaks for itself. The only change from last month is under police vehicles. We added another vehicle to move that total up from 45 or 50 up to 90. So again, right now we're tracking to have a balance in our reserve accounts, in all of the reserve accounts at the end of this current fiscal year of $5.01 million. We'll continue to make sure we track towards that. Again, we have to make sure that any unplanned expenditures or emergency expenditures that may come up, that we manage it accordingly and make sure that we prioritize it accordingly. But so far, I think we're in pretty decent shape. We've stayed on target with that, and let's just hope that we don't run into any situation that would cause us any kind of unplanned or emergency expenditure. So, and I believe that's it.
Okay. Before we go into public comments, Doug, just for next month, if we need we'll need the interest rate set for this coming year.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a note that I will be introducing a motion at the February meeting, which is what we do every year, to set the interest rate for delinquent accounts.
Right, and your report on the delinquent account, that will, if you could have that in writing so it can be attached to the minutes, that would be fine.
Sure.
Okay. All right, do we have any public comments? Is there anybody online that needs to make a public comment? It doesn't look like there's anybody has to make any comments. So let's move on to the capital purchase request. John?
Capital purchase requests. So the first one up, and we've talked about it, is the parking lot here at the admin building. So if you can turn the page, please. Okay, so White Horse Campus parking lot repaving, requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation for $59,500 for the parking lot here at the admin building. It is in the budget for this year. The budget was somewhere around $35,000. We did get 3 bids. We got some bids. They were very high. A lot of it had to do with COVID. A lot of it had to do with increase in material and all that. This was the lowest bid. It's $59,500. I just wanted to give you some what we're actually getting with that. We existing parking spaces 44, new parking spaces 29. We did lose 9 with the police, with the extension of the police building. So that gives us a total of 64 spots, an additional 20, which is needed. So obviously this paving will also cover that and not just the parking lot that we have now. And then, you know, they gave me some points. I'm sorry, was that a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, so let me
Larry?
just finish. So it's due to the asphalt plants closing for the winter. We would be paving this early spring as soon as the plants open up. Questions?
Larry, I have a question.
Yeah, Doug?
Hey, John, is the paving just that area where the craft building used to be, or are they paving other parts of the parking lot as kind of an overall upgrade?
Yeah, so it's an excellent question. So it will pave, which is where those additional spots come from, Doug, where the old craft building was. It will also pave over from when you come in off Ocean Parkway, all the other existing parking spots that we have now. However, and I did get this question from somebody else, when you face, you know, go past the police station, the Rocky area there, that will not be paved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, yeah, so it gives you that. This includes the additional 20 spots. Yep.
All right, can we, is there a motion to approve?
Larry,
capital-
Larry,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just interject a question here? In
Sure.
the Teams module, we have an opportunity to do the raise the hand thing. And I had wanted to ask John a question a while back, and I put on the raise the hand icon. Should we go to doing that, or what's your preference? I just want to make sure that anybody who's sitting
Yeah, you
out.
can do it either way. I'm not seeing your hand raised. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But if I start to move forward, interrupt like you did.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's coming up now.
Now it's on.
Okay. Can I go back a beat?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. John, I have a question about the North Star system, because, you know, we go over to the clubhouse, or before just recently we went over to the clubhouse, and I was hearing things from the staff about the North Star system. What is the experience with other organizations like ours that have put the North Star system in place? And can any of us, or would you like any of us to reach out to find out what their experience has been and how we might benefit from their experience?
Yeah, so and Camilla, I do believe, and I know I'm sure you heard things there, as I did. I get updates and emails with it. Ralph and his team, along with also the Steves here, we did reach out to other companies. Ralph talked to them. The feedback we got now was that some of them put it in. I don't want to say with some pain, but they did put it in. Others are experiencing some pain. I think I stand by what I'm saying, that it'll be a process, as long as we have people that embrace it. And now that they're telling us, and you heard Doug and myself, you know, explain the main reason why they had the situations where we would see information and then we would lose it, or the system just wouldn't, wouldn't start up in the morning or whatever. So this low level of capacity. So I think they have some growing pains, and I'm certainly not going to defend them. They have been very responsive lately, and we'll see with that. So we did get feedback from several. I'm not going to say there's 100 companies out there that have the North Star point of sale system, though. We're new with them, and I'm sure we'll both grow, and eventually we'll get in there. But I appreciate the feedback and the help.
John, I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's good to give something we've invested heavily in, that, you know, some opportunity to grow. If you had a crystal ball or you had to prognosticate, what would you say the chances are of being completely up and running with minimal opportunity for error by the time summer rolls around and our bars at the yacht club, et cetera, are getting, and I don't want to put you on the spot,
I'll
John.
answer, I'll
because-
answer that with COVID.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I
So,
don't want to put you on the spot, but what do you
It's
think
fine.
the prognostication is for us being at a point that it's going to be satisfactory to the customer, the employees, and our financial team come summer?
right. So, and like you said, it's just like COVID. But I'll venture into that realm. Based upon this last meeting, and the update I gave you today, I feel better than I did last month when I came forward. I would like a month, I would be able to answer this question better over the next 2 months. And obviously, we're doing this now during a slow period, so we can see that. The best way I can answer it is I feel better than I did when I updated this board and the association last month on that. But, you know, let's let it evolve over the next 2 months. But we are monitoring weekly.
And
All right.
John, let me add something to that. Camilla, the system is not going to be installed in the yacht club this summer. We discussed that, I think, at the last board meeting. The Matador companies have requested that we were supposed to start the installation in January. They requested that we not do it. We agreed that we will wait till at least September to let the summer season pass. And if I understand, and John, correct me, that we're going to move forward with the installation as it is with the clubhouse, and then go to the beach club.
Yes.
And after all that's done, then it will go to the yacht club. So to answer your question, there won't be any issue with it this summer at the yacht club.
All right. Thank you both very much for that, and I'll look forward to hearing more about it.
Yep. No, good question.
All right, is there a motion to approve the repaving of the parking lot at the bid price of $59,500?
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
And the motion passes. John, you're okay with that?
Yes, thank you. We will go forward.
All right.
Next.
So the next item we have is
Yeah, I got a
the
couple. So
the
police
department.
Yeah, so thank you, Larry. The police department, 2 vehicles. Just some back history. At the beginning of this year fiscal, and with the Chief Massey reviewing, and what I do with basically every department head was see what we can do, what we can possibly put off to reserve cash, right? We all talked about that, reserve cash. And then with the metrics and what the CFO, what Doug gives, we see, and I'm more comfortable with the cash at this point. We had put on hold buying, which was in the budget, for 1 police cruiser. Subsequently, Chief has come to me. The other cruiser is on its last legs, whatever. So I was going to put that would have been in the budget that we're working on now. We're coming forward and asking for 2 cruisers now. The effect basically is maybe utilizing or a use of cash 4 months earlier, because it'll take them a month or 2 to get these vehicles, if not 2. And it would be that we're utilizing cash. I think it's $38,000 for each, or actually I think it's lower. They just gave me an update on it. So I'm coming forward. If we could just turn to the page, we're requesting 2 vehicles. Staff recommendation. They do buy them through a state program. So this isn't something that goes out for 3 bids. This is where all police departments buy from the state program. And that's what I'm requesting, what the chief is. They need it.
Okay, is there a motion to accept to approve the capital request for the 2 police vehicles at a price of $76,908?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing
Larry,
none?
that,
Yes.
I'm sorry, the $76,000 encompasses both vehicles, and they're loaded with the equipment that the police officers need?
Yes,
Correct.
that's correct.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, you're right.
All right, no, if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, John, that passes.
Okay, thank you. Next
And now
up,
let's talk about the Racquet Center.
all right, so let's talk about this. There's 3 parts to it. This is all good stuff. We talked about it during the budget process. I do need to get this in there. Hopefully I get approval today so that we can get the contract going on this, so we can get this all in under this budget year. This is not in this budget, but we are recommending to do this. And here we go. So I showed you the picture in the beginning. B&F has given guidance and approved this whole racket sports. So first piece is Racquet Center 4 pickleball courts, requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $67,895 from the firm Terra Firma, who has done work with us for the 4 pickleball courts.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have some discussion, Larry.
Sure.
I am a fairly avid tennis player and hope to be back out on that court now that I have a new hip to take with me. But the pickleball initiative has garnered a tremendous amount of success. I have run into people that I knew back in Bel Air that are playing pickleball down here in some of the tournaments. I see that when I'm over at the tennis courts, there is a very long line of people waiting to get on the pickleball courts. I think we can only enhance our visibility and enhance our sports over at the Racquet Center by passing this, by authorizing this recommendation. And I really urge all of us that are on the committee, that are on the board, to move forward with this recommendation.
Larry,
Is there any further discussion? Doug?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So John, with these, and trust me, I'm 100% behind it.
Right.
If we put these 4 pickleball courts, will this also allow us to look into the future and say, let's say 2, 3, 4 years from now, we need to add 4 more pickleball courts? Will we be able to be adjacent without any real, relocation of land and anything else? Or are we kind of at a point where this is about as far as we can go, given the current layout? And I'm just thinking in the future.
Yeah, no, this is, and I got it. So with the feedback I received from all the pickleball players and obviously the people down there is that they wanted these pickleball courts near the other pickleball courts. And I showed you, one of the reasons I had that diagram in the beginning is to show you where we put it. When we first did this, we thought that we may not get approval to put it there because of whether it's wetlands or drainage or whatever. Compliments to Eddie, Noby, and Colby, who worked with the county, and they're getting us the approval there, and they showed them and they brought them there. So that area there's not much more I can do, Doug, there, or we can do. But the good thing is they're right there with the other pickleball courts. Could we do other things, but it might be somewhere else. I don't know how much more we can expand down there with that. But where we put these, that's basically filled.
Okay. All right. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Any
Good
other
question.
for discussion?
Good question.
All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the capital request for $67,895 for 4 pickleball courts, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. John?
Okay, thank you. My team's already working on it. Thank you for that approval. I'm sure the team and everybody else is going to say thank you. Okay, so that part, like I said, there's 3 parts to this. Next one is, I might as well do the fence. That one popped up. So Racquet Center, now obviously for these courts, we need a fence. Requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $12,000 for the tennis courts, which I'll talk to you about next, and $14,859 for the pickleball courts that I just spoke to you about, from Nan to Coke fence. And I'm just checking, I believe it was the lowest bidders.
I've been through this earlier.
Yeah, this has been pretty well vetted, Larry.
Yeah.
So they were the lowest bidder. We got 3 bids, one of them declined to finish the bid. The other bid, $44,000. We have worked with them.
All right, so the amount, John, what was the amount again?
Yeah, it's $12,000 for the tennis courts. And then
Point of order, why don't we get a motion in first and then we can have discussion?
I just asked, so I can do the motion, Doug. I'm just asking for the total price.
yeah, so if you want a total, it's $26,859 for the 4 pickleball courts as well as the tennis court that I'm going to speak to you next.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
There's second
Second,
and discussion. All right, so John, this $26,859 is for the fencing for all the new courts?
Yes.
Okay. And also I just want to make sure everybody understands that we did discuss all of this at our budget meetings yesterday, and this is being used against the favorability moving forward for this year, just so everybody understands where the money's coming from. So is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the $26,859 for fencing for the courts, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, it passes.
Okay, thank you. And yes, there was no effect on the
On the P&L.
assessment for this. Cash, yes. Okay, I have one more, the last piece. Oh, it's up there already. The Racquet Center, the junior tennis court. Requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $66,087 with terra firma for the junior tennis court. As I showed in that first, well, let me, has anybody else seen these admits? Oh, thanks. So when you first go into the parking lot on the left, when you're looking at the platform tennis, this junior tennis court will be right there to the left of the platform. Okay, so again, $66,087. Approved by BNF, was okay with it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the $66,087 for the junior tennis courts?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Larry, I might have missed a beat here, but do we have any kind of firm numbers on how many kids are involved in the junior tennis program?
If we do, I do not have them with me right now.
Yeah, I think the idea, if I remember listening during the budget and finance budget hearings, Tim and I keep
Terry.
forgetting it. Yeah, Terry. I think the whole idea is because they've been approached by an organization that does sponsors the junior tennis, that and they see a potential for it here for lessons and a tournament, if I remember correctly. That's why we're moving. They wanted to move forward with this court.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, and just a couple of things that, and I thought Larry was going to say it, that Terry has told us is one, he's hoping to get some grants for this.
Right.
It is handicap accessible. I don't have the number of children, but I'm sure we can try to get it. But he's going to grow. He wants to grow this.
And I believe that. And just, for those who are maybe listening to our meeting tonight, is that Terry Undercover has been the coach at Worcester Prep, and certainly knows the junior tennis circuit very, very well, as does Tim Mullen. So if they have endorsed this and feel that the potential is there for growth, which supports later tennis programming and enhances revenue, then I would encourage us again to vote for this, since I am the board liaison to this committee.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor of the motion to approve $66,087 for a junior tennis court, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. John,
Okay.
CPI violations?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it left. Thank you very much on this. I know that the team down there has worked hard putting all this together for us. Okay, so let me just catch up. All right, so the CPI violations, I mentioned this earlier, right? Last time I came forward, there was 11 of them. At the beginning, I told you that I told the board that the homeowners already had taken care of around 8 of them. So we do have the 3 left. I believe there's pictures in here, but these are the 3 locations that we still have the roof maintenance. I explained to you what we're going to be doing. So I just need approval.
Who's got their hand up?
I have a question.
Oh, Tom.
Hi. I see that all the work's being done by J&J Power Washing. Do we have a copy of their insurance certificate? And are they licensed and bonded to be going on these roofs in case anything happens?
Tom, it's an excellent question. I believe they are. I will make sure that we have some type of copy of that. We have used them before. We use them all the time. I've seen them in the neighborhood. I believe I've seen that on their trucks. I'll make sure that our team has a copy of it. I do understand your question.
I agree with you. I've seen them too. It's just not on their invoice anywhere. And normally that's required as part of an invoice to have their license number on there. So if you could get that before they start work, I would appreciate it.
Understand. Yep.
Okay.
And if they don't have it, there's another company that we can use, but I believe they do. But we'll get it.
Thanks.
Okay. Yep. Nope.
So John, you're looking for us to authorize
Yes.
letters to be sent again, and then if they don't respond, to go ahead and do the work?
Then it will be the process that I spelled out at the beginning. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. So then is there a motion to approve the violations at 18 Harbormist Circle, 1 Maid Marion Lane, and 9 Chestnut Way?
So moved.
Larry, I'm sorry, before we move on with this, are we only approving the CPI violations, or are we approving CPI violations and the remediation through this particular company, or should we kind of bifurcate this and only approve these and wait for the solution after we ensure that they have the appropriate credentials?
Doug, do you have a comment?
Yeah, real quick, to make things simple, what we've done in the past is we should do them one at a time. We find them in continuing violation of, the rules and regulations, and we move forward with that. Now, the GM will take the action. In this case, is just going to be one extra step, but we normally, would just follow the process. Since the process has already been laid out, we basically just need to make sure that we're going to find them in continuing violation. And the GM is giving us some extra information. It says, by the way, as part of the process of finding them in continuing violation, I'll take the necessary steps to clean the roof and charge them accordingly. So that would be, from point of order, that would be my suggestion on how to handle it.
Then I have no objection to that. Okay.
I agree. So is there a motion to find 18 Harbormist Court? Who's got a question now?
I had a quick one, real quick. The Maid Marion Lane, obviously it's just a very small picture of just the sunroom or the screen and porch, but this is from 2018. Is the picture current from today, or is it from 2018?
Tom, I would not say the picture is as of today. That was the picture that they sent. I don't know the exact date.
Okay, I would just state, maybe we make sure that we have that it's currently the condition of it in. I'm assuming since J&J's put a bid together, they went out and looked at it. So I
Yeah.
don't think that there's anything awry, but it's just the fact that this violation is from 2018 makes me just wonder how, if there's anything been done or how bad it is. So.
Right now, I know after last month and after the discussion and everything, I know that they sent the inspectors out again, so. But
Okay.
I don't know
It looks like
exactly.
they sent the letters out in on December 19th, and again,
Josh checked them, Larry. They go out there. I don't know the exact date, but they've
Yeah,
checked. the
okay.
system. But we'll check, obviously. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
okay, so is there a motion to find 18 Harbormist Circle in continuing violation?
So moved.
Is there a
Second. I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, is there a motion to find 1 Maid Marion Lane in continuing violation?
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second.
any further discussion besides what Tom just had?
Just with what Tom had, if we can have an assurance on that, then
Just have them follow up, John, make sure that it has not been corrected.
Right. They did go out there and check them. That's how we knew the other 8 were taken care of. I just don't know the exact date between the last board meeting and now, but it's definitely, they've checked it since last board meeting.
That's fine. As long as we have their insurance certificate on file, which I'm sure we do. If Eddie works with them, shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. As we were speaking, Tom, I sent something to Eddie to check it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All in favor of the motion?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And is there a motion to find number 9 Chestnut Way in continuing violation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And motion's passed. Okay.
Thank you.
There is no unfinished business, and I don't have any new business. Does anyone else have any new business they want to bring up to the board? Okay, seeing none, we have 4 appointments. John Dilworth, 2nd term ARC, Jerry Horn, 2nd term Marine, Jerry Leuters, 2nd term Marine, and Mike Johnson, 2nd term Marine. Is there a motion to accept all 4 appointments?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have one comment.
Yes.
May I make comment? I just wanted to recognize the efforts of the folks on the B&F committee. They went through a lot of review of the budget. They were very helpful in combing through all the different line items and the different aspects of the budget. And they put a lot of work in, and their recommendations obviously yielded a good result. So I just wanted the community to recognize the amount of effort and the work that was put in by the members of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Good night, everybody.
Later, everybody.